What makes a world unforgettable? Whether it's the quirky magic of Enchanted or the satirical fantasy of The Princess Bride, both movies offer powerful lessons on crafting immersive worlds. So let's deep dive into how world building can ground a fantastical tale while adding layers of depth and humour. And I have gone all in with my costume and hairdo for today's episode. You're welcome. So why is world building so important? It's the bridge of believability, the foundation that holds the weight of your story. You get me? It helps the audience suspend disbelief, emotionally invest, and live in your world for a moment in time. In Enchanted, Ella is cursed by a fairy at birth with the gift of obedience, forcing her to follow any command. She must navigate a world full of ogres, giants, and a cruel stepfamily while trying to break the curse and regain her free will. And in The Princess Bride, a farmhand named Wesley must rescue his true love, Princess Buttercup, from the evil Prince Humperdinck. One of the strongest world-building elements in Enchanted is how it sets up the rules of magic early on.
Wake up!
Ella is cursed with the gift of obedience, a spell that forces her to obey any command, no matter how harmful it might be.
Come on, hand it over. Oh.
This curse is not just a plot device, but a structural element that shapes the entire world.
I have got to find Lucinda and get her to take back the curse.
Ella's journey to break the curse is both personal and political.
Nobody should be forced to do things they don't want to do. Take it from somebody who knows.
The movie cleverly uses the curse to explore themes of control, resistance, and choice.
That wasn't an order, you know.
I know.
We get to watch as Ella's obedience becomes a metaphor for the societal constraints placed on marginalized groups, and we see this reflected in the treatment of magical creatures like elves, giants, and ogres. This is where the world building becomes truly political, and I'm crashing on it so hard. We're not just following Ella's personal struggles. We're watching a world on the brink of revolution when the oppressed are ready to rise.
But when King Florian was killed, allegedly, by an ogre, Sir Edgar saw it as an opportunity to exile all non-human creatures to the forest, keeping their land for himself.
This scene does a lot of heavy lifting in establishing the political climate of the world. Ella argues in defense of the giants, ogres, and elves who are being oppressed by people in power, such as Sir Edgar and Prince Charmant.
Give yourself a pat on the back. Hattie?
While Hattie supports the segregation and the status quo.
He has driven the ogres out, and he has put giants and elves to work as labourers and entertainers. Therefore, if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have today's thriving free enterprise system.
It's only free because we've enslaved the poor creatures and they're forced to work for nothing. Edgar is a monster, and I don't hold out much hope for his nephew either.
This debate really plants the seeds of conflict that will later pay off when we meet the elves, the ogres, the giants, and we see firsthand the systemic oppression they face.
Prince Char will be the greatest king ever. Right, girls?
Yeah.
Just admit you're stupid and don't know what you're talking about.
I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Ella?
In conclusion...
Hold your tongue, Ella.
Ella!
What's also clever about this scene is that the world building could have felt a little bit on the nose, but because we're more focused on the fact that Hattie might be about to discover Ella's secret about the curse, we don't really notice. Very clever.
Why don't you like music?
Oh, that's right. Because elves are supposed to be so happy and joyful. I don't want to be an entertainer. I want to be a lawyer.
Why can't you be a lawyer?
Hello? Elf.
I forgot the elfin restrictions Sir Edgar passed.
Yep, the elf population is restricted by laws that prevent them from pursuing careers they desire.
They're never going to let me go to law school. I'm never going to get my day in court.
So by the time we get to Giantville, the audience isn't surprised to see the giants treated like slaves.
The giants have always been gentle. Why are they being treated like slaves? I'm sure my uncle doesn't know about this. He couldn't.
It all makes sense because the world has already set up these inequalities. Oh, and when Slanna gets the opportunity to be a lawyer and helps rescue Ella from the dungeon, it's truly a rewarding moment.
But when faced with a challenge to the principles of equality, freedom, and civil liberties, this elf will draw the sword of justice. And furthermore,
Excuse me. What is going on here?
The world building here pays off in a way that feels earned. So hopefully you can see how the issues of segregation, slavery, and power are subtly woven into the fabric of the narrative, and they give Ella's personal journey a broader societal context.
Where's my purse? It's back there.
Wait right there. I will get it.
Why boys be silly? This moment not only demonstrates the spell's power, but also shows how Ella's obedience can easily put her in danger.
Prince Charmant! Your Highness.
Are you crazy? Why didn't you move?
Oh, this happens again when Ella is captured by the ogres.
Now keep your mouth shut and don't move.
So the world building is showing us that the curse forces her to comply with whatever command she's given, even when her life is at stake. So these instances set up a key turning point in the story, the scene I'm going to watch now.
tonight is the coronation ball. At some point, amidst your frolicking and romancing,
I don't like where this is going.
is that at the stroke of midnight, you will take this dagger and plunge it through his heart and kill him.
No, I won't!
Okay, by this point, it's clear. If this spell is capable of endangering her life, it could just as easily harm someone she cares about. I also love how it's the same actor from The Princess Bride. Did you notice?
You will tell no one of this plan.
The stakes feel inevitable as we understand how powerful the curse truly is.
Buttercup was raised on a small farm. Nothing gave Buttercup as much pleasure as ordering Wesley around.
Polish my horse's saddle. I want to see my face shining in it by morning.
As you wish.
Go on, boy. Fill these with water.
As you wish.
Please.
That day, she was amazed to discover that when he was saying, "as you wish," what he meant was, "I love you." And even more amazing was the day she realized she truly loved him back.
As you wish.
Is this a kissing book?
The Princess Bride goes out of its way to set up the rules for true love.
I will always come for you.
But how can you be sure?
This is true love. You think this happens every day?
Yes, it's establishing early on that true love is enough to overcome any obstacle.
His ship was attacked by the dread pirate Roberts. When Buttercup got the news that Wesley was murdered, she went into her room and shut the door.
I will never love again.
Ooh, side note, they also set up Pirate Robert in the opening, and that's coming back now.
You're the dread pirate Roberts, admit it.
With pride.
But it's not.
I remember this farm boy of yours, I think. This would be what, 5 years ago? I asked him what was so important for him here. True love, he replied.
When you found out he was gone, did you get engaged to your prince that same hour, or did you wait a whole week out of respect for the dead?
You mocked me once, never do it again! I died that day! You can die too, for all I care!
Oh.
As you wish. Ooh, kitty.
What have I done?
Ow. Really? So once Wesley and Buttercup are reunited, the line
Death cannot stop true love.
resonates because the movie has already convinced us of this truth. The entire movie revolves around testing this bond. Whether it's Buttercup falling into a sinkhole and Wesley diving in to save her, or Buttercup sacrificing herself to keep Wesley alive when they're surrounded by Humperdinck's men.
I could not bear it if you died again. Not when I could save you.
The movie constantly tests the strength of their love. 'Tis the very thing that drives the plot forward.
I never worked for so little, except once, and that was a very noble cause.
Also, Miracle Max's agreement to bring Wesley back to life hinges on the simple but powerful concept that the cause is noble.
What you got here, that's worth living for.
True love, you heard him? You could not ask for a more noble cause than that.
Alright, ask yourself, are there societal or magical rules that reinforce or challenge the status quo? And how are they introduced to the audience? What are the consequences when a character breaks or bends these rules? And how does it impact the world around them? Basically, how can you use world building to set the tone of your story? In The Princess Bride, the world building leans on the fairy tale structure, but the tone cleverly subverts it. Charmingly, intentionally. The movie opens with a grandfather reading a story to his sick grandson. This establishes our first world, the real world. We watch the boy's progression from indifference to fully engaging in the fantastical story that his grandfather reads to him.
Hold it, Grandpa. She doesn't marry Humperdinck, she marries Wesley. I'm just sure of it.
The progression mirrors how the audience will also get pulled into the world of The Princess Bride. Then we shift to the second world, the storybook world, where the stakes are high, true love is tested, and characters are exaggerated archetypes. The world looks like a fairy tale, but it's a world that's constantly poking fun at itself. From the cliffs of insanity to the fire swamp, everything about the setting feels heightened, almost cartoonish. Yet, it's also deeply consistent.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable! I don't think it means what you think it means.
You can't help but believe in the rodents of unusual size and the pit of despair, because the world's tone makes them believable. So the world feels romantic, ridiculous, and sincere all at once. Love is worth dying for, but also mocking. Revenge is noble, and also hilarious. Everyone behaves as if the stakes are deathly serious, and that's why the comedy works. It's a satire, yes, but it never loses heart. The world says, yes, life is unfair, but true love wins. And honestly, it's kind of beautiful. Okay, writers, ask yourself, how does the tone of your world influence the characters' actions and the story's mood? In what ways can the setting feel both real and fantastical at the same time? Does your world balance humor, drama, and fantasy? Or is there one tone that dominates the narrative? And how does that shape your audience's expectations? What will the audience see? Think of the immediate sensory experience you'd like your audience to have. From color to movement to scale, your script is the first place this begins. The words on the page will heavily influence the choices made by every department down the line. In The Princess Bride, the visuals are classic medieval, but with a twist. The cliffs of insanity feel impossibly tall. The fire swamp feels like a theatrical stage. Not quite real, but emotionally effective. The cinematography and costumes are grounded, but always a bit exaggerated. Just enough to remind you that this is a tale. Very meta.
Jesus, Grandpa, what did you read me this thing for?
And remember, this is a story within a story. The visual language keeps that idea alive. In Our Enchanted, we're shown a storybook world. Sort of reminds me of a pop-up book, that kind of aesthetic.
Lucinda here.
Everything from the costumes to the sets suggests a heightened, almost pantomime aesthetic. The movie begins with a sweeping shot of the kingdom, introducing us to a world that feels expansive and full of possibilities. This geography also sets up Ella's journey and helps the audience understand the scope of her quest. But this isn't just about setting the stage. Oh no, it's about setting the style.
Ella grew up strong of mind. Her gift made her obedient, but her heart made her kind.
As the narrator rhymes, we get a sense that we're in a universe where the fantastical is just a part of the fabric of daily life. We also get to see the narrator blend into this world, which I think is genius. He's the postman delivering Ella's mail, and the artist painting the stepfamily's portrait. Such a fun little detail. Again, crashing on it. The bright colours and musical numbers evoke a sense of fun, with hints of contemporary elements like escalators and magazines, which make the medieval world more accessible to younger audiences. Even if they don't know what it's like to live under the rule of a prince, they probably understand the concept of celebrity crushes and fan clubs.
Are you a fast runner?
Not particularly, no. Why?
Look at this contemporary nod to modern life.
Looks like she's getting an FWI.
FWI?
Flying while intoxicated.
This blend of modern and medieval keeps it playful but relevant. The movie also uses the soundtrack to deepen the world building, and I'm here for it. Songs like Strange Magic and Walking on Sunshine remind us that even in this medieval fantasy, there's a sense of modern day joy and whimsy. Great word, whimsy. This blend of time periods and styles creates a world that feels lived in and approachable, even though the characters are navigating magical chaos. Time to ask yourself, how do the visual elements, colour, design, costumes reflect the world's tone and magic? What visual symbols or metaphors can you introduce to highlight key aspects of your world building? How can the physical world itself deepen the audience's connection to the story or its themes? So next question. How do your characters behave within this world? Your world will only feel real if your characters reflect it, challenge it, and are shaped by it. In Ella Enchanted, when Ella's mother passes away in the opening, she leaves Ella with a powerful piece of advice.
No matter what anyone says or tells you to do, look to yourself, Ella. What's inside you is stronger than any spell.
This message drives Ella's character, especially in her relationship with Prince Charmant, also known as Prince Char.
Call me Char.
Char. She encourages Char to see the potential within himself to be a great king.
Slannon wants to petition the kingdom for the right to become a lawyer.
Lawyer?
Why not? There were no laws against it when your father was king.
That's not really my area of expertise.
You'll have the power to make a difference in the world, and you don't even care.
It's not like I asked to become king. I had no say in the matter.
Well, thanks to your uncle, there are a lot of people who have no say in the matter. Nobody should be forced to do things they don't want to do. Take it from somebody who knows.
She's not wrong.
I know you don't like his politics much, but I'm sure when I tell him about the giants, he will correct the situation.
Yeah, or you could. It took a lot of guts for you to come here today. Look at the way you smooth things over with Koopa Duck. You're a natural at this.
Tomorrow, I'm going to go to my uncle, and I'm going to ask him to repeal the elfin restrictions. Slannon will have his day in court if I have anything to say about it.
I think you're going to be a great king someday.
Kiss me.
I really suck at watching romance things. It makes me so uncomfortable. Ella's own transformation is highlighted in a key moment when, after being ordered to kill Char by the evil Sir Edgar, she stands before a mirror and tells herself,
You will no longer be obedient!
This act of self-determination is a turning point, showcasing how much Ella has learnt about her own strength.
You are never to kiss him again.
You want to bet?
And speaking of mirrors, do you remember the first shot of the grown Ella in the movie? She's looking at herself in a mirror. It's a subtle but brilliant piece of foreshadowing that ties into the world building and her eventual decision to break free from the curse. Hurrah!
Drop your sword.
In The Princess Bride, the characters challenge the world they inhabit, and in doing so, they make it feel more real. The dashing hero, the innocent princess, the vengeful swordsman. They are introduced and then immediately subverted.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect.
Wesley, for example, starts as a typical romantic hero, but his wit and irreverence constantly undercut the seriousness of the world around him. Buttercup, the princess, seems like the image of poise and grace, but she's cynical and unafraid to voice her frustrations.
And when I say you are a coward, that is only because you are the slimiest weakling ever to crawl the earth.
Similarly, the vengeful swordsman is a complex character with a tragic backstory and a thirst for justice. But he's also prone to moments of comedic absurdity.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
These characters exist in a world where love and honor are serious, but they're also ridiculous. And the movie finds a way to make both work. Even when new characters pop up, like Miracle Max, it doesn't feel random. It feels earned. Because the world has already shown us it values the unexpected. That's how both movies invite us in. They teach us how their worlds work, and then they let us explore.
I promise I will not kill you until you reach the top.
That's very comforting, but I'm afraid you'll just have to wait.
Again, writers, ask yourself, how do your characters challenge or reflect the world they live in? What does the world's magic, culture, or politics teach the characters? And how do they change because of it? How do your characters' arcs align with or subvert the rules of your world? Basically, I want to know, is your world building age appropriate for your target audience? Ask yourself, how can you adapt your world building to match the intended audience's age and expectations? What elements of humor or lightness will make your world engaging without losing its stakes? How do you handle darker or more intense themes without losing the accessibility or fun of your world? In Ella Enchanted, the action sequences are comical and over the top, fitting perfectly within the playful tone of the movie and its target audience. This type of action isn't meant to be intense or terrifying. It's lighthearted and whimsical. Great word. Whimsical. But still, it contributes to the world building by staying true to the world's absurd but fun nature. The Princess Bride does something similar with its action sequences, especially in how it keeps things age appropriate. For example, when Buttercup is about to be attacked by the shrieking eel, the movie cuts away to show the grandson and the grandfather, with the grandfather assuring the boy and us that Buttercup will be fine.
Because we can stop now if you want.
You could read a little bit more if you want.
This gentle shift keeps things light-hearted without diminishing the tension. One of the best examples is the sword fight between Wesley and Inigo. The dramatic, intense battle is made lighter by the fact that both men are fighting with their non-dominant hands.
I'm not left-handed either.
Who'd have thought? This comedic twist diffuses the intensity and makes the fight less about life and death stakes and more about two people showing off their skills. And then, of course, when Inigo finally confronts Count Rugen, the man who killed his father, he says,
"Prepare to die."
Count Rugen runs away, creating one of the movie's funniest and most absurd moments. So these age-appropriate moments make the world feel fun, and they add to the overall tone of the movie. What is unique about the world? Specific is interesting. That one weird little detail might be what audiences remember most. Both Ella Enchanted and The Princess Bride excel at making their worlds memorable through specific and unique details. Unique, specific detail. Ella Enchanted gives us the hilarious and absurd. A retirement home for fairies. Magical beauty procedures. A census?
Well, we have every year's census in the castle. It's not open to everyone, but I could probably pull a few strings.
These quirky, unexpected elements make the world feel lived in, like a place where anything can happen. In The Princess Bride, we're treated to similarly unique details. The rodents of unusual size, the cliffs of insanity, and, of course, the six-fingered man. My favourite is the priest whose speech is pure parody.
Marriage, that blessed arrangement, that dream within a dream.
These elements are so specific that they instantly become iconic, and they make the world feel distinct.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye!
Ask yourself, what specific details can you introduce to make your world feel lived in and unique? How can one or two small elements become iconic parts of your world? A quirky character, an odd law, what world-building details will stick in the audience's mind long after the story ends? Let's mash! In the Clockwork Kingdom, time is a magical force controlled by ancient clocks that govern every aspect of life, like birth, death, and magic. The Grand Timekeeper, a mysterious entity, ensures that the flow of time is perfectly maintained. Seraphine, the protagonist, is born with a rare gift to manipulate time without relying on clocks, making her an outcast and a target. The rules of this world are clear. Time is the ultimate authority, and those who challenge its flow face dangerous consequences. When the kingdom's clock starts malfunctioning, causing the royal family to forget crucial parts of their identity, Seraphine must confront these rigid laws. The tone? I want it to be similar to The Princess Bride, so my movie will blend absurdity with serious themes, like the consequences of controlling time. The visual style? This world mixes steampunk and fantasy, because of course it does. The colour palette blends muted golds with the royal family's vibrant blue and reds, creating a whimsical yet industrial feel. The characters? Seraphine's rebellious nature drives her quest to find the Grand Timekeeper, sort of like how Alice searches for her godmother Lucinda in Enchanted. I want each character to challenge or reflect the rigid structure they live in, symbolizing the desire to free themselves from time's control. And what about a memorable detail? I think there should be something like a time loop tavern that lets characters from different timelines meet. I think that would be very absurd, very fun, and very memorable. Until the next MASH, bye! I wasn't recording sound, so let's do that again. A strange object. Treat? Sorry, my cat wants a treat. Do you want a treat? I'll be back. The Princess Bride. Girl! Your fat is sitting on the button, girl. Your booty is pushing the button. Hello, kitty. You've come to join the fun. Or have you come to wreak havoc and destroy everything like a kitty cat does on the prowl for destruction?